Time now for 1 full hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner, Doug Herbert.
This is the Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Top Fuel World Champion and winner at Las Vegas, Antron Brown, will be here. Alexis Dejoria drops by to talk about her funny car victory. And Pro Stock finalist Bo Butner joins us as well. We're in the beams and set to launch another edition of the Straight Line. Welcome in, coast to coast, around the world. You are watching and listening to the Straight Line here on MRN.com. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Along with 4-time IHRA Top Fuel Champion, 10-time NHRA National Event winner, Doug Herbert. I am Marty Huff. Getting done with Las Vegas, and man, a long dry spell for the dragsters over at Don Schumacher Racing. Normally about 4 races and they haven't gone to victory lane. There's something wrong there, and Antron Brown decided that was probably enough. But I'm guessing that there was probably a little bit of concern. I think there's still some concern over at the DSR camp, even after Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, I mean, Steve Torrance had low ET, Doug Coletta had top speed, so they were not necessarily the performance leaders, but Antron's car, I mean, he proved why he's world champion, got the job done with a very consistent car, thanks to Brian Karate and Mark Oswald, but also him driving. I mean, he was like a machine driving that car. So great job by those guys. But Steve Torrance with low ET, again, I mean, that car is running good, and they've got some. And then the Coletta guys, holy cow. So we got Doug Coletta with top speed with the top fuel cars, and then both Coletta cars in the final
funny
round.
Car.
So, those Coletta funny cars really running good, which is not a big surprise. I mean, there's a reason why Del Worsham has #1 on the side of his car.
No question.
But what a great performance turnaround from the later part of last year. They just really turned it on.
Yeah, and they did not lose anything over the offseason. I mean, they have been strong still over these first 4 events in 2016. They've been really good. Now all that's starting to trickle off into some of the other teams, and that shows with Alexis Dejoria walking away with Wally.
Well, yeah, and like I said, top speed from Doug Coletta on the dragster side too. Yeah. So they've got, wouldn't be a surprise to see a Coletta double up like we've seen several from Schumacher. We saw a forced double up last weekend with Funny Car Top Fuel win.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprising to see a double up from the Coletta guys, either J.R. Todd or Doug Coletta. Yeah. And Del Worsham, Alexis, their cars are running good enough that it's that's a real possibility.
Yeah. One of the things that we love about drag racing is that every once in a while you have the opportunity to see somebody go to a final round or maybe even win an event that you don't normally see. Troy Buff was that guy this weekend. We'll talk to Antron a little bit about that. But I'm sure that most everybody in the stands, and I would hazard a guess that most everybody in the pits would have loved to have seen Troy Buff take that win. It's just
Troy's
a really
a
cool
good guy, and he's been around drag racing.
Yeah.
His dad, Willard Buff, has one of the old Texas alcohol drag racers forever, probably fuel too. I mean, they've been around racing for a long time. I've raced them in alcohol cars back in the 80s, so they've been a long time in the in drag racing. And then Bill Miller, the BME car, getting to the final. The car was very consistent.
Yeah,
Antron had a better car and had a faster car, won the race, but for Troy Buff to be there in the final and having a pretty good shot to win that race, really good testament to not only Troy Buff, but to Bill Miller and his team.
Yeah, no question about that, because they can run real well and usually very consistent. It's just putting a whole bunch of them back to back to back, and they did that this weekend.
Well, yeah, and Bill Miller will be the first one to tell you that owns and tunes and everything basically on that car. Miller does it. Like, he's the guy. Yeah. And you ask him, and he tells you, Herbert, I own this car. I'll do it the way that I want. Right. And I've known Miller, for 30-something years, and he just beats, he marches to his own drummer, and he does what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, and he'll tell Troy Buff, shut it off at 600 feet. And Troy better shot it up at 600 feet or Miller's going to get pissed. But Bill Miller, smart individual, his company, Bill Miller Engineering, makes a lot of the parts for a lot of the other drag racing teams, Top Fuel, Funny Car Pro Stock, but also NASCAR. He does a lot of the pistons for a lot of the NASCAR teams.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he does. He does a lot of parts, pistons, wrist pins, connecting rods, all kinds of parts. And Miller, he's an engineer guy, started at Forge True, way back in 100 years ago, and ended up running the company and buying the company, and now it's Bill Miller Engineering. But super guy, been a friend for a long time.
And no surprise, obviously Troy Butt being a bit of a surprise, but no surprises that KB Racing shows up after dominating the first quarter of the season, goes to Ken Black's home track at Las Vegas and knocks him dead again. Greg Anderson winding up with the $50,000 in the K&N Horsepower Challenge, and then having an all KB Racing final with Jason Line. Bo Butner, we'll talk to Bo Butner a little bit later on in the program. But they have not slowed down. They have not let their foot off the gas.
No, it's like we've been talking about every week here at the Straight Line. The KB Racing team, Greg Anderson, Jason Line, Bo Butner, they have a distinct performance advantage.
Yeah.
They definitely have a performance advantage. Jason Line with low ET and top speed again this weekend. They've won every race so far this year. And there's, I don't know, there's internet people whining, oh, it's going to take all the fun out of it. Well, it's like, wait a second. Eric Enders won all the races last year. Did that take all the fun out of it? I mean, come on. Go back and look. Warren Johnson won all the races. He had a advantage. Bob Glidden won all the races when he had an advantage. Lee Shepard won all the races he had. I mean, so this is nothing new for Pro Stock. When somebody gets ahead, it seems like in the fuel cars, over the years, it's been Big Daddy or Joe Amato or, Kenny Bernstein, whatever. Somebody will get ahead. Everybody else seems to catch up pretty quickly in the fuel classes. When somebody gets ahead in Pro Stock, it takes them a longer time to catch them.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now with KB Racing.
And considering, because of the new parts, pieces, EFI, rev limiters, all this stuff, that it would probably take even longer because of those new parts, pieces, that this is going to be a little bit longer time than I think maybe some would expect. But there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of
racing left, and we've also got a countdown, so it doesn't matter how far they get ahead.
Correct.
Now, it's all going to get reset. The big thing is, is the advantage they have something that they came up with over the winter? I tend to think not. I think that the reason their advantage is something they have been doing works better with the new combination. That's what it is. And so, they might not even necessarily know what it is. It's just something they're doing works better with that combination. It's not maybe. I mean, now, I could be totally wrong, but something that they're doing just happens to work better with the EFI, with the rev limiter, with whatever. And those guys, they're no dummies. They are working hard to make sure, as we've talked to Greg Anderson and Jason Line on the show over the past few weeks, they're working hard to make sure that they can keep a little bit of an advantage, because everybody else, trust me, is working very hard to try and catch them.
Yeah.
So they've got to work real hard to try and keep a little bit of an advantage.
And the third car in that stable, Bo Butner, has done very well this year, getting to his first pro final this weekend and going up against Jason Line. We will talk to Bo Butner a little bit later on in the program. We'll also talk to Alexis Dejoria, who breaks a 33 race winless drought, and we'll talk to her about that and her big win at Las Vegas. And Antron Brown also coming up here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll talk to him about getting that first win for DSR in the dragster category. Big layoff, another big layoff coming up now for the four-wide. We've got 2 weeks in between. What are these teams doing right now to prepare for four-wide? And just then after that, then it's pretty steady after that. So I would imagine that this is maybe one of those last times to be able to get all your parts, pieces, and whatever you need for the next, I would say a couple of months.
Well, there's definitely some planning going on, but they don't want to have too many parts and pieces sitting around the shelf because things change fast.
Yeah.
You're going to have inventory, but you've got to be a little bit flexible. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff sitting on your shelves when all of a sudden things change and your whole combination is going around. So right. I wouldn't I wouldn't look too much into that. I did say Doug Coletta was top speed over there. Also, Del Worsham, back to the Coletta guys, he was top speed in the funny car class at Las Vegas last weekend. So nice performance by the Coletta guys.
Yep, and they're whatever that combination is at Las Vegas that they have is really and paid dividends, as Coletta had a great weekend at Las Vegas. And when we return, we will talk to another guy that had a big weekend at Las Vegas. Antron Brown joins us next.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. More right after this.
O'Reilly. Restore your vehicle's lost power by cleaning your entire fuel system with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Right now, buy one bottle, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Keep your engine clean and improve performance with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Come join us every weekend at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Hi, I'm Rob Tanner, your host and master of the grill, as we get you ready for high-octane NASCAR racing with hot laps and hot tracks. We serve up 2 hours of the best hits in country music and keep you up to date with racing news and features you won't find anywhere else. Sit down and have a seat. It's a regular weekend pit stop for country music at the speed of sound, NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, the host of NASCAR Live. We've been taking your calls every Tuesday night for over 30 years, but now you don't have to wait for Tuesday to let us know what's on your mind. Call Motor Racing Network's fan hotline at 844-4-ASK-MRN.
I enjoyed this past weekend's race. I didn't understand why Danica...
He can dish it out, but he can't take it. When he's banging into Joey.
Be a part of the voice of NASCAR. Call 844-4-ASK-MRN.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Now here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for being with us here on this Thursday. Along with Doug Herbert, I'm Marty Huff, and on the telephone line right now is the driver of the Matco Tools U.S. Army Dragster and defending world champion in the Top Fuel Division, NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing. Antron Brown joins us. Antron, congratulations on the big win at Las Vegas.
Oh, thanks. It was great to be on.
Antron, how did it seem like forever from the last time you won until Vegas? For us, it was like, gosh, when are the DSR guys and Antron? I mean, they got number one in their car for a reason. When are they going to start winning? And all of a sudden, bam, there you are.
Well, Doug, let me tell you something. It's one of those things that when you get out there, it wasn't from a lack of not trying for sure. You know what I mean? And we came out good. We qualified decent. At the first couple of races, we're up in the top half of the field, being where we wanted to be at, and we just messed up on race day, just pushing too hard, and I pushed myself too hard where I actually red lighted in Phoenix when we had the car to beat. So we just went back after Gainesville after we had another bad race. We stayed after we tested, and we worked a lot of things out, and we just came into Vegas poised and ready to get after it, and our hard work and everything get paid off, and it felt real good to get that win underneath our belt for sure.
How about Matco Tools? They've got to be just tickled pink coming off the season that you have had last year, and then going into Vegas and having another win and bringing it home. How are everybody over at DSR and in relation to the Matco guys doing? They got to be really excited.
Oh, they're definitely very, very pleased for sure, and man, we just been working so hard, and all the distributors and they came out. We had a really big expo this year in Vegas. We had like almost all the distributors there. We probably had about 85 to 90% of our distributors showed up in Vegas this year at the expo, and they were rallying around winning that championship last year. And it was just it's awesome to be part of a group like that. That's just so much like family that gives you all that support. And when we didn't have things go right the first couple of three races, they were behind us. Say, it's going to be all right. We're going to get them. Keep your head up, and here we are. We're able to pull it off in Vegas. So it definitely feels good to give back to that group of people, and to our Matco family for all the support they gave us all through all these years that we've been with them so far.
Right. Hey, Antron, tell us a little bit about Mark Oswald and him getting inducted into the Drag Racing Hall of Fame down there before the Gainesville race. That had to be something pretty neat for you and your team, and especially, obviously, for Mark.
It was, Mark Oswald. I mean, the name speaks for itself, man. It's not just his cunningness or his engineering skills or capabilities or even his driving ability. I mean, Mark is just one of the best people that I ever met on this earth, and he's my brother. And through thick and thin, the reason why he always had the nickname Iceman is because he's always just even kiltered. He's never high of high, he's never low of low. And I think that's what makes Mark so great, because he's able to bring that same level of calmness to everything that he does. And in our sport, Doug and Marty, you know how intense NHRA racing is. It's intense. I mean, you mess up, you're going home. You know what I mean? And no matter when we're struggling, that's the kind of man you want in your corner. And for him to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, he's very deserving. And when he got up there, he was like, he's always just like so modest and humble, where he goes, I can't believe that they even recognize me for what I do and everything else. I said, because the thing about it is he works hard, and he's one of the greatest human beings ever stepped a leg in a funny car or a top fuel car and racer, period. But just being on the engineering side of it and everything that he's developed, an engineer that he never takes credit for, but he's done a lot for this sport behind the scenes and out front. So it just felt cool to be a part of that, and to see Mark definitely get what he's due.
Antron, you said in post-race that, and I'll quote you, we had to change our combination because we have some different parts and pieces. We started off and it wasn't that our car wasn't running good, it was running great. But you did have to change some parts and pieces in there, and obviously, as you mentioned, the combination. Do you feel like that combination now is just now kind of coming in after the 3 or 4 races this year?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that it's no big secret. You know what I mean? Every team, and Doug, you know what I'm talking about. When you change, like if we could have the same clutch disc that we ran all last year, and we could have them for the rest of our career, and every team could have the same thing, it'll be a whole totally different story. You know what I mean? But we literally ran out of some of the clutch discs that we ran last year, and we had to implement new ones in. And it changes your whole bell housing combination. When you do that, you have to change everything else to go along with it. And that was the biggest issue that we had, is that getting that where our car became very aggressive off the starting line. And we had to figure out how to get it back in the window that we're comfortable with, where we can go down the track 90% out of the time like we're used to going down the racetrack, 80 to 90% of the time. And it was throwing a wrench in our works, and
Right.
It threw up on us in Gainesville first round, and we weren't trying to go out there and set the world on fire. We just wanted to go down the racetrack like we've been doing, and we stepped on the gas, and it just was very aggressive. It never calmed back down. So we're like, all right, Ryan and Mark goes, we got to fix this. So we went and tested after Gainesville, where we had to get on the opposite side of that to make it better again.
Yeah, well, and obviously they got it figured out, because that car going down the track was consistent every time.
Yeah.
384, 384, 382, 384. And the driver did a really unbelievable, consistent job, too. And that's what wins races. Hey, I wanted to ask you, how about your final round opponent, Troy Buff? That was a different guy than you're usually seeing in the final round, but pretty neat for Bill Miller and Troy Buff to get their team to the final.
Troy Buff, I said it in another interview, that joker came in there and he was just a plain assassin all day long. He wasn't taking no prisoners, and he wasn't trying to take me in the final either. He was trying to cut my head off at the start line. He cut that 012 light on me, man. I was like, I knew I was on time because I saw the light come on, but when I saw the light come on and I'm pressing the gas pedal like I always do, his car was already revved up, taking off. And I'm like, what's happening? And then I looked up on the scoreboard. I was like, my light ain't lit. So his light was green. I was like, man, he nailed the tree, and I knew it. And I was like, come on, baby. Come on, Mark and Brian. Come on, Macco boys. Come on, Brad and the rest of the Macco boys. Hopefully they get enough in this car to get to the strike first. And they did. They did. But hats off to them. They didn't run the run they wanted to run first round, because I saw the footage where they smoked the tires in the first round, or they dropped the hole and went a low, like a 4 something. But then the second round, the semis and the finals, they were on it, man. And they had problems just like everybody else did, where they weren't making to the finish line underpowered because the track was slippery. And once you hit the bumps on the transition, just like our cars, we were dropping holes on the big end just like they were dropping holes. So we weren't getting all the way to the finish line too underpowered, but they made the most out of it. They ran 391, 390, 391, or 392. And they were a fierce competitor. And I look forward to seeing them for the rest of the year, because they're definitely going to be a competitor that everybody's going to have to look out for, because they can run also the low 80s and high 70s when the conditions get right also. So they're going to be a tough opponent to race this year for sure.
Antron, I'm always amazed when, and Doug talks about it a lot, and you're one of the best ones at it, that as a fan, I'm sitting there either watching my television or I'm there live and I'm seeing everything that is happening, and it's all a blur to me. You guys as drivers, Doug and Antron and everybody else, you can break these down almost to tenths of seconds. I mean, your description of the tree and going, okay, I heard him, I heard him rev up. I knew I was on time. I mean, all of that takes a split second. It is amazing. How long did it take for you going from a bike to a top fuel dragster just to really have that slow down as much as you had it?
Man, I tell you what, Marty, it took a while. I would say it took probably a good, when I first started racing top fuel, before I even knew or recognized what was going on, it took a good 40 or 50 laps down the racetrack where I can actually start sensing, because my mind has slowed it down enough to realize what was happening. You know what I mean? And it takes a while. Like the first 30 runs, 16 runs, I can tell you this right now, is that I couldn't tell you one thing that was happening in that race car.
You're like, hang on, this thing is going fast.
Oh, shit. I'm just being honest with you.
Right.
I am being drop dead honest with you. I couldn't tell you one thing that was going on. And anybody that says that they could tell you where they're at or what's going on, they're lying to you, because it took me a long time, because you start getting used to it and your body actually starts slowing it down. Yeah. And then you can actually really comprehend what's happening around you.
Hey, Antron, we know it's obviously a long season, but starting off early in the year, number 2 in points, you've got some tracks where you've done well at coming up, ZMAX, at the 4 wide and some of the others. So you've got to, you don't get comfortable because it is early in the year, but that's a nice place to be starting out the season at number 2.
It's always good to get off to a good start. And Doug, it was so funny because on the TV deals, they're interviewing it, and they were telling us, like, Antron, this is the slowest start you ever had to a year, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's only the 4th race in.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, we didn't win one of them, but we've never won the first Pomona. We've been to the finals in it numerous times, but we've never won the first one. We've been close so many times. But we have won Phoenix quite often, and we only have won Gainesville once. So we've never had like a killer start to the season. You get what I mean? So it's not like you win the first 3 races. Like I guess that's a good thing. Then when people think that you're supposed to win a lot of races, I guess, But the competition is just so tough, and to get off to a good start to be where we're at is still anybody's race, because we came into this race 10th place in points. You know what I mean? And then we literally won it and went from 10th to 2nd. You know what I mean? So that shows you
I like
how
the
tight
trend,
the field is
right?
right now. Exactly.
Yeah. Really good.
Antron, just looking ahead real quick, we got a couple of weeks until everybody comes down here to ZMAX. For anybody that may not have seen one of those live, from the driver's seat, what is that like to take off with not just one opponent, but now 3 opponents in a top fuel dragster?
I tell you what, it is definitely. I can tell you this right now. It's the best way I can describe it to people is wrestling. Okay, it's like okay, you always see your main feature event where you got mano a mano. They're going for the belt, right? We see that every weekend. When you get the Z-Max for the 4-wide, it is the battle royal where it's an all for all and winner takes all. And that's the best way I can describe it, because you could throw all your strategy, you could throw all your track maps and all that stuff out the window, because you'll have 4 great lanes, because all 4 lanes at Z-Max Drag Strip are good. They're great. They're pretty much some of the best race surfaces that we race on for the whole year. And then you can run fast in any lane. And then what happens when you line up, you just can't worry about, this guy stages like this. He likes to stage first. This one likes to stage. Don't make a difference. Everybody comes in at the same time. The tree comes down, and you better put the best package you have each and every round. You can't go up there and say, this guy here has never ran a 70, so we could just run an 80 and we'll be good to go. No, all that stuff is gone. You got to go up here and say, you know what? If we want to make it to the next round, we better run with the track and hold and give it all we got. No more strategy. Winner takes all, battle royal, and the best gladiators will survive at the end of the day, who are the king of the hill, who is the true king of the hill, because I guarantee you'll race the majority of everybody at that race that weekend.
I remember a few years ago, or a couple, I don't know how many, but 3 or 4 years ago, you and I raced all 3 rounds on Sunday at the 4-wide race.
Against each
you
other.
Beat me. You didn't only beat me once, you beat me 3 times. But at least, I was happy to get to the final, but that was something.
I didn't beat you, Doug. We were going together.
We were going together. Yeah, that's right.
The only way you win is when you get to the final, never.
Yep, that's right. That was a pretty cool thing. The 4-wide thing is amazing, though. I know people come here to the 4-wide from all around the country. I mean, or all around the world.
Yeah.
Australia, European guys, because it's the only place that you can see that 4-wide thing. It really is. I think everybody fought it a little bit at the beginning, but it's kind of turned into a pretty cool deal where it gives somebody a reason to go to something special. I like those special races like that.
Absolutely, and you got some people that still complain and everything else. It's just another form of the game. You have to change the way you race, and you got to change the way you do it, and that's all the 4-wide is. And you have to definitely think about when you're staging, because the 2 inner lanes are different. But I think that's what makes people have to adapt. It makes you make you more versatile to adapt to the situation that you're in, and all the teams always rise up, and they do well. All the great teams always do. So it's definitely a tough one, but it's also a lot of fun.
Hey, I know you're going to be busy probably doing some Matco Tools work, but Thursday the 21st, before the 4-wide, come out to our golf tournament, at least hang out for a little bit if you can. Well, you can ride around in a golf cart or drink vodka or moonshine from Junior Johnson or whatever. But, man, we'd love to have you. we would love to have you come out on Thursday to the Breaks Golf Tournament.
It's going down, Tron. You know that.
I know. That's hilarious. But we're definitely going to try to get out to that for real this year.
Cool.
Doug, I know on Thursdays, you know how it is always on Thursdays for me, is Army school visit, and I have a Matco deal in the evening. So they keep me pretty busy with all my appearances. So they got me locked down again on Thursday, buddy. Wednesdays are always my days for sure, that I could always fly in early and do stuff, but Thursdays they keep me locked up pretty good.
Oh, man. Well, I'll buy you lunch one of these days over here, and I'll take you to North Carolina barbecue. We'll have a good time.
Amen, brother.
Congratulations. Yeah, great win at Las Vegas, Antron. Congratulations. Great win for you, DSR, and the whole Matco Tools team. Congratulations.
Well, I really, really appreciate it. It's always great being on you two guys' show and on Straight Line, because we really love being there. And I can't wait to come out to North Carolina. I can't wait to get there next week.
All right. Thanks, Antron. Appreciate your time. Driver of the
Anytime.
Matco Tools U.S. Army Dragster for Don Schumacher Racing. That is Antron Brown. 55 pro wins, 39 in Top Fuel. Just unbelievable numbers that he's racking up. Speaking of a guy that racked up some really good numbers this weekend at Las Vegas, Pro Stock finalist Bo Butner will join us next.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. We'll have more right after this.
MRN's Wing Nation on MAV TV.
Hi, I'm Donnie Schatz.
This is Paul McMahon.
Hi, I'm Brian Brown.
I'm Steve Post.
And this is Kendra Jacobs.
Join us every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV.
I'm Kyle Larson.
Hi, I'm Sammy Swindell.
I'm Kerry Madsen.
We talk with sprint car winners, newsmakers, and personalities and give you the latest sprint car news every week.
I'm Rico Abreu. This is Wing Nation with Steve and Kendra.
MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.
Saturdays at 9:30 on MAV TV.
O'Reilly.
Need auto parts but can't get to a store right now? Head to O'ReillyAuto.com. Buy your parts online and pick them up at any of the 4,500 O'Reilly Auto Parts stores nationwide. No shipping costs, easy returns, and convenient pickup on your schedule. Shop your way at O'ReillyAuto.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Motor Racing Network, glad to have you aboard for our coverage of practice, something we will be doing all throughout the year.
They are pretty close in practice.
You said you learned a lot in practice.
We can have a good, clean practice.
How many teams are going to opt out of practice?
Get this practice session underway.
As we close out practice.
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
We are talking practice. Sprint Cup Series practice on the Motor Racing Network. Join us all season long on MRN.com and the MRN app. Welcome back to the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Antron Brown for joining us on today's Straight Line. And joining us right now on the telephone line is the driver of the Butner Auto Sales Chevy Camaro for KB Racing and finalist at Las Vegas this weekend. Bo Butner joins us. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time, man.
No problem.
Hey, what a great running car you have had all year, actually, Bo. But, man, particularly at Vegas, you had the best car, really, on race day. The car was it was right there. The win is just waiting to happen.
It's waiting, and it's overdue for me because I guess I've been spoiled in any other class I ran before. I've had fairly early success at it, and it just sucks. I know the car's there and absolutely have the best crew, the best parts money can buy, and like you're right, we had the best car Sunday, even better than our ball straight.
Yeah, right. I mean, with number 3 in points and your teammates over there at KB Racing, between the three of you, you guys are really just knocking them dead this year.
Well, we set out this year and we're pretty happy with some early numbers, and we told Ken and Judy Black that there's no reason why we shouldn't be 1, 2, and 3, and our goal is to do that almost through every race, and one of us to win every race.
Well, and that looks like what you're accomplishing because, man, what happened in the final round? The red light that you had was pretty early, almost like something in your head just say go, or what happened?
Well, yeah, it's no surprise. I've struggled hitting the tree in this car since day one. Since the first day I got my license last year in Charlotte, I hit the tree pretty good in my head, and I said, I'm only 70. I'm in trouble. But we worked on it a lot, and actually on that run there, it was a long tree. Jason even said it too. That's probably why he was a little late. But it's just one of them times where you just said go, and I went.
Bo, you've been very successful at the sportsman level, 2006 Lucas Oil champion. Pretty extensive background in EFI, and when the season started, people started looking at you of maybe having a little bit of an advantage because you have had prior experience with EFI. Now that we've got a couple of races under our belts, do you feel like that has been an advantage for you, or is just something that's just been a part of your past?
Well, yeah. You all both know as well as I do, you're as good as the people you surround yourself with. I was fortunate to hook up with a guy by the name of John Meany in 2006. That's actually the year I won the comp championship.
Yeah.
We did a little Pro Charger Supermod car with the EFI system, and been chiseling away with EFI ever since with the stockers. But when they made this announcement last year in Denver, of course, Greg and Jason and everybody from KB, our ride back from that meeting was, you even thought we went to a funeral. But I try to explain to them it'll come around, and it's way you can tune it a lot better than you can a carburetor car, which of course Jason doesn't want to ever hear that. But
no,
and he'll still to this day never admit it. But it's pretty neat. There's so much more, and I think we just really scratched the surface of what's capable.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Bo, what are you looking for this year? What do you see in the obviously the KB guys have a little bit of an advantage right now. Do you see that holding through, and what other changes and advancements do you see going in through the rest of the year, not only for you, for your team, but in Pro Stock in general?
I can really tell. I haven't really spoke to a fan yet that's upset about the change.
Yeah.
And if anything, we're getting maybe a younger fan than what I saw at the end of last year.
Right.
But as the cars, everybody's going to get better, and I think people will catch up. But that's why Jason and Greg are today working on making us new stuff. And I think they've done over 30 intakes. I mean, they just try, and these guys work so hard. I've never seen nothing like it. That's one reason why I'm with them.
Now,
but, I think that the field should catch up, but we haven't really lost any cars. We lost Larry Morgan, which it doesn't seem right being in a Pro Stock race without Larry. But,
no doubt.
Some of the other guys are sticking up and coming, and I'm really anxious for the 4-wide. I haven't got to race that yet, so that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll see you down here for that race. We were just talking at Antron Brown, and he likened it to a professional wrestling battle royal, where it's just kind of everybody against everybody. Nobody's worrying about staging because you just try to do that all by all at one time. That'll be pretty crazy. But we'll look forward to seeing you on that. Also, your fiance, Randy Lynn Shipp, she's a very successful sportsman racer as well. Talk about your relationship and the having two racers under one roof.
Well, for one thing, she won this year earlier in Phoenix, and I was very happy that one of us can still win. That always helps. But she's as serious as they come. She's a cute girl, and behind that car, when she has confidence in her car, it's really, really tough to beat her. And she's probably the hardest critic on Jason and myself when it comes to driving. She will, a few times she told us we ought to just quit, maybe try to run comp with these cars or something last year.
Wow.
She's pretty strong on us. And Jason's finally maybe figured out how to take her, but she has no filter. And I think that kind of makes her successful in driving.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys when are you coming into the 4-wide race? Because I know Greg Anderson and his son Cody are going to come out and golf in my Breaks golf tournament on Thursday morning, and you're sure welcome to come out, bring your fiance, and come out and have a little bit of fun with us.
We're scheduled to fly in Wednesday night, but I might have to postpone that to Thursday. It just depends on it, but I do appreciate the invite. And Cody actually worked for me this past week. He did the back half of my car.
Oh, and, wow.
He's a good kid, and he's a pretty good golfer. So
yeah.
And I told him definitely to stick with golf. He can get a lot more money out of that than he can race.
And boy, that's a fact. Hey, what was Ken Black's reaction of your success this weekend in Las Vegas? Obviously, that is his home race, and having two KB cars, I would imagine, tickled him pretty good.
He's happy, and he's one of those guys that he's happy for me to win, Greg to win, or Jason. He just loves to be involved in racing. Judy, his wife, just the same. Yeah. They're really two special people that it's kind of hard to find people that's, for one, willing to stick with it like they have and keep pumping the money in it. But it's really cool to race with people like them.
Well, Bo, it looks like the success is coming along for you, and I'm sure you're going to be in the Pro Stock winner circle in no time at all. I would bet a little bit of money on that.
Well, we sure hope so. As Doug knows, we always we leave the house to win every race.
Right.
People just come to hang out. That's not us.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think we'll have a good time, and looking forward to Charlotte.
Yeah, and you also. Not only are you racing on the weekends and very successful at it, but you also have a day job, and it sounds like you're right in the middle of your business day.
Well, actually, I'm still here in Vegas with my kids.
Oh, okay.
Randy Lynn and she had to fly home yesterday, and her dad had a heart attack.
Oh, no.
And they did surgery on him, and she's already back here this morning, so everything went well. But we're actually staying to run the points meet, so I think the next 12 weeks we have 11 races counting points. I still love my soccer, and I still love going stock racing with her. So, yeah, but the day job, that's one reason why I might not be in Charlotte till Thursday, because I still have to go buy cars for us to sell.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys that have to stay busy or I get in trouble. So luckily I've picked the right profession.
That's exactly right. Definitely keep you out of trouble. Well, Bo Butner, congratulations on the success. Congratulations on being number 3 in points, and that win is just around the corner. I'm pretty certain that it's going to be coming real soon with the way your car is running, the way you're driving.
As long as we can stay 1, 2, 3 for Ken and Judy, and one of us win, that's all that matters to me. So, but a win is a bonus.
Yes, sir.
Bo Butner, driver of the Butner Auto Sales Chevy Camaro for KB Racing, and finalist this weekend at Las Vegas. And when we return, we will talk to the winner of the funny car class at Las Vegas. Alexis Dejoria will join us next.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. We'll have more right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Looking to find the best place for all the latest NASCAR Sprint Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, K&N, and Modified Series news? MRN.com is the place to go. Your online home for NASCAR news, opinion, podcasts, videos, race schedules, results, and statistics. Award-winning motorsports writers keep you informed and up-to-date on all the latest breaking NASCAR news and in-depth stories and opinion. MRN.com, your online home for all the NASCAR information you're looking for. Before you set your fantasy racing lineup, check in with our experts to get the inside line on who's fast and who's last entering the race weekend. Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett take you inside the facts, stats, and latest news from the track so you have everything you need to set your team and win the weekend. Log on to MRN.com and enter the Media Center every Friday. It's the inside line on demand and only on the Motor Racing Network. You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Now, back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Bo Butner for joining us on today's Straight Line. And on the telephone line with us right now is the winner of the funny car class at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Strip there. Driver of the Tequila Patron Toyota for Coletta Motorsports, Alexis Dejoria joins us. Alexis, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for having me back on your show.
Hey, Alexis, the fourth win now. You're getting where you're finding that winner's circle a little more, so that's got to feel really good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we thought we did in 2014, but 2015 took a big dip for us, and a very humbling year. So we ended a 33 race drought there in Vegas last weekend, and God, it just felt so good. It makes it that much more amazing, because you knew how hard it was to get to this point.
Yeah, not only the car ran good, but you were on it. I mean, it's obvious the will to win was really high this past weekend.
Sure. There's been a lot of very frustrating races between this one and the U.S. Nationals. So, man, you really. When you're winning, you're really thinking you're on top and you're going to just keep going. But, that's just not the way it is in the sport of drag racing. Not always.
You mentioned 2015 being a bit of a frustrating year. How frustrating was it that you were struggling and not getting into the winner's circle when your teammate was winning the world championship?
Well, I think, we did make a lot of progress as far as going rounds. We went to more semifinal rounds than we ever had, and we ended up finishing in the top 10 in the standings, which was nice. But unfortunately, we just didn't quite realize that we were, fighting our own equipment the entire time. And we had front half the chassis, and it would start to run a little bit better, and then, all of a sudden it would just do crazy stuff, and we just couldn't apply any more horsepower to it because it just wouldn't take it, One run would go out and smoke the tires, another one would make it, and it was just crazy. So, the guys were like, man, I think we just basically need a new chassis. That's what it comes down to. And I know the guys at Kalitta had been, trying to develop their own chassis shop in Kalitta Motorsports, so we didn't have to outsource them. And it took a little bit of time, but they're going to be absolutely incredible when they're finished. I know the dragsters got theirs already, and they seem to absolutely love them. So the next one will be done by Charlotte. We're excited. But this car, it only had 12 runs on it. It was Dell's backup car. It was a lot newer than our car. And, the DHL guys are such sweethearts. They said, until you get your new one, man, take this one, We're just like, we're teammates, and they're down to help whatever, to help the cause. And because honestly, you want to run, the same numbers. You want to be true teammates and have the same stuff and set them up basically the same so we can learn off of each other.
How about when you pulled up there in the final to race Del Worsham? They probably wanted to get that chassis back right then. They're like, now's a good time. We need that one back. You got to run your old one.
It's like, hey, guys, can we just run this for a couple more races before we give it back to you?
And we know Connie hates putting new pipe. Like, for 25 years, Connie's always told me, pipe is pipe. It doesn't matter. It doesn't know anything.
Fine.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, well, we front have the heck out of that thing until just, basically there was no more we could do to it. So, yeah, it was toast. We were done. But, Tommy and Glenn are so incredible, man. No matter, what we did in qualifying, they were always able to turn it around on race day, and we would run a great number, like our best number of the weekend. But, it's a little bit too late. But, the guys, we've just all been working so hard to try and get this thing back to our 2014 car or better, and I think we finally got her back, so it's exciting.
Did Jesse was a part of the pig pile up there at the starting line? Did he get in that mosh pit? I hope not.
I don't think he really did, because I saw one clip where him and Tommy were kind of walking away, so I
good.
My dad got caught up in that for the U.S. Nationals, and Jesse had to grab him and pull him out. But it's pretty fun. Pretty cool to watch.
And, Alexis, with the win over here, you went up to 8th in points, but the good thing is you're only like a couple rounds out of second now.
No.
Like, that was a big jump up and kind of put you in a really good position, going into the swing where things are going to start happening fast.
Yeah, we needed that. We definitely need to make a move, because we only had one round win, since the beginning of the season, and we hadn't really gotten any good points from qualifying, so we needed to make a big move. And man, this is the biggest move we could have made. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we're only in the 8th position, but that being said, there's been so many different winners in the funny car class so far that nobody's got like a huge jump. So we're all pretty close in the numbers.
With 4 wins in funny car and 2 of them coming in Vegas, you got to kind of feel good. There is like something in Vegas just kind of clicks, huh?
Yeah, it seems to be our racetrack. No matter what, we either get to the semifinals or better so far.
Yeah.
Wow. 3 of the 4 wins at Las Vegas coming against former world champions. 19 between the 3 of them. Obviously, Force in there. Your teammate Del Worsham and Robert Height. Do you still get a little? Is there something in the back of your mind, especially? Everybody says when you jump in against John Force, there's just always something that kind of clicks there. Oh yeah, there's the 16-time world champion beside me. Does that enter your mind at all when you get in, or are you just focused on leaving on time and just getting down the racetrack?
Probably when I first hear that I'm racing somebody like that, I know it's a big round, and you got to bring your A game every time you go up against a champ like that. And, there's certain things you got to keep in the back of your mind, like, the way he stages a certain way, and you don't want to, like rush in there. And, there's just certain little things that you got to remember, but at the same time, don't get caught up in it and race your race, race your lane. So I just, stayed focused and stayed straight and did my best out there and tried not to get caught up in the craziness of it. And it was a successful moment. So very, very lucky, but he's a cool guy. He just, just joined Twitter, and one of his tweets, I guess, was about me.
Right.
He's like, oh, just got beat by the girl or something. It was funny, but yeah, he's always fun to race out there.
He is fun. Hey, coming into the 4-wide race, a little bit different thing, but your crew chief, Tommy DeLago's had some great luck here. And the 4-wide thing kind of opens it up. It's like you go up there and you run your own race and do your thing and go some rounds.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip because you only get one shot at each lane in qualifying before race day, so you never really get too much information, just enough, and it would be a cool race to win for me because, not only are you going up against just one team, you're going up against 3 other teams that you got to beat. And, just to have all that horsepower going down the racetrack at once and a beautiful facility, it's incredible. I really hope we do well there.
Hey, Alexis, another thing we have at the Charlotte race is our Breaks golf tournament. We would love to have you come out for that, maybe a Patron tasting hole or something,
I've never been a golfer. I've never even tried it before. I keep telling my friends that I'm going to go one day with them. So I don't know if anybody would want me on their team just yet.
I guarantee you could.
First.
You could come out and practice a little bit. We have a gun that shoots a golf ball like 400 yards, so you can shoot the gun. And
I'll shoot the gun.
Yeah, shoot the gun. And Jesse, we know he would love to shoot the gun.
Right.
So you got the gun and
Exactly.
and there might be a little bit of Patron drinking going on, which might be fun
Maybe.
too.
Yeah, I don't see him swinging a golf club anytime soon, though, guys.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, and I know the girls just want to be known as racers, but obviously when a female wins, it gets a little more attention. And this season, early on in this season, has been really good for the females with Brittany and Leah winning in Top Fuel, and now you taking home another win in Funny Car. What's this been like? Because obviously there's a little more attention to that. It's not just one of the girls doing really well; there's a whole bunch of them.
Well, when there's only about a handful of us in the pro ranks, it's still going to be a big deal no matter what. But to have back-to-back wins by females in the pro ranks is pretty incredible, and I don't think it's ever happened like this before. So really, really proud to be one of those girls, But again, you don't want to always be flying that pink flag. You just want to be out there, racing, the best race you could and be respected as a racer, not a female racer, so to speak. But it's still, very nice to get that notoriety.
Hey, Alexis, we were talking, Marty and I, a little bit ago about the strength of Coletta Motorsports and how good all of the cars are running, and even the possibility coming up of winning doubling up again here with with one of the Coletta funny cars, either Doug or JR, and then one of either you or Dell winning in the funny car. Having 2 Coletta cars in the winner's circle would be pretty exciting, I know, for all the Coletta bunch.
And it's definitely going to happen at some point. I mean, these cars are running so well. So really, really proud to be a part of this team.
2 mosh pits in the same day. That they may have to outlaw that or something like that because somebody may not survive.
Well, hopefully, I'm one of the cars in the finals, so I don't caught up in it.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Alexis, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, and can't wait to see you here down here at ZMAX Dragway for the 4-wides.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it.
See you, Alexis. Thanks.
Driver of the Tequila Patron Toyota for Coletta Motorsports and winner of the Funny Car Division at Las Vegas. That is Alexis Dejoria. And when we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. More right after this.
O'Reilly.
If you do-it-yourselfers are looking for the right tool for the job, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale. You'll find a wide selection of Power Torque tools on sale now and guaranteed for life. Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale going on now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
You know, it's everybody just trying to say my last name. They just don't finish it.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
For the most part, our hearts were wagon makers.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Stay up to date with the latest news from the NASCAR Garage, weekdays on NASCAR Today, midday.
We can enhance the fans' experience, and I think that's what we really need to zero in on and provide.
Hear from the drivers and teams as they chase the 2016 championship trophy.
Change is good in our sport. It re-energizes people, makes everybody, step up to the plate, so to speak.
NASCAR Today, midday, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network, your source for NASCAR news.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Now here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Hey, real quick, I want to ask for your help. In exchange, you could win your own Google Chromecast in an effort to give you the kind of web programming you want. We're asking if you just take a quick online survey, www.mylistenerstudy.com. You see it right there on the screen. The survey is completely anonymous and will help us give you more of what you want. So don't forget to enter for the Google Chromecast as well.
MyListenerStudy.com.
That's it right there. And we really appreciate your feedback and your help on that. Went up to Seattle for breaks this weekend, and I don't know between your tweets, between the breaks tweets, between Mimi's tweets, this looked like it was an absolute grand slam up there.
We just had an incredible time up in the Great Northwest. Had a super turnout. We had incredible media help. The guys at the track were great.
Yeah.
Everything. The weather was super. You can tell I got a little bit of sun. It was It was just incredible. I don't know if people in Seattle lie about the weather. They always say it rains up there. Every time I've been there the last couple of years has been sunny and nice. So
You've been
I think
lucky.
they're just saying that to just keep us away.
No, I think you've been really lucky. And then coming up here, then after this, it's pretty much on until the end of the year for breaks. I don't think you even have a weekend off where you don't have something somewhere.
We are pretty busy this weekend. There's still some spots open at Indianapolis. We've got the at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, Lucas Oil Raceway. We're having schools this weekend. We've also got stuff this weekend here at ZMAX Dragway in Charlotte. So a lot going on. And then we've got Englishtown, New Jersey coming up. We've got Detroit and San Francisco and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, go to putonthebrakes.org. If you have a teenage driver, there's no reason not bring them. The training is free. Your teenager is going to be 64% less likely to be in a crash, according to statistics. So there's a lot of reasons to bring him and really no reason to not.
And really quick, if somebody's interested in coming out and golfing on April 21st, how do they do that?
Go to our website, call the Brakes office. There's information on there. We've got some open spots still available for golfing, but it's going to be really, really fun. We've got Jim and Nick's Barbecue. We've got PDQ Chicken. We've got Junior Johnson Moonshine. The list is on and on. We are going to have some fun out there golfing on Thursday, April 21st. So go to putonthebrakes.org and find out more about the golf tournament.
If you haven't been out to that, there's racers all over the place, drag racers, NASCAR guys. There's people.
Even if you don't want to play volunteers, there's a lot of opportunities to come out and be involved. And we would love to have everybody come out and join us.
Big thanks to Antron Brown, Bo Butner, and Alexis Dejoria for joining us. So for Doug, for Craig this week, and for Robbie, I'm Marty, and we will talk to you next week here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts and Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.